The following is a paid program sponsored by Get Elevated. Please be advised that the voices and opinions you hear do not necessarily represent the views of KUNV Las Vegas, the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, or the Board of Regents of the Nevada System of Higher Education.
Please note that while we will cover a multitude of topics, including many alleged health benefits, all information provided should be considered anecdotal and informational. Please consult with your physician before adding cannabis to your medical regimen. Cannabis is for adults 21 years of age and older. Also, paid sponsorships are not to be misconstrued as preferred or favored by the host. In any way, they are merely that, paid sponsorships. Good morning. Happy Saturday. Welcome to another edition of Get Elevated with Gia. G Money's in the studio with Buddy Romesburg. What up, buddy?
What's up?
What up, buddy? What up, Kevin? On the mic.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, God, I love his voice. Kevin, you have such a cool... Don't tell Ray I'm cheating on you. I'm cheating on him.
With me.
Oh, it's a good voice. Thank you for being
confused.
here.
I know. You want me to step out?
No, stop. Okay, so this is a show about cannabis. We talk about truth and clarity, all things cannabis. Season 1, education. Season 2, cool people. Season 3 is cannabis and ... Today we're talking about cannabis and Aspergers, and I have a good friend of mine in the studio who listened to the first episode when he came in, kind of gave us his background on cannabis, and thank you for that education on Asperger's, because I've only seen glimpses of it in movies, and I'm sure that's not even accurate. So why don't we actually start out this second half with a recap of Asperger's so people can understand like what that's like? Just hit the highlights.
Sure. So I'll give you a comparison as a definition. So many people like to compare Asperger's with things like ADHD. Okay.
I've heard that.
And the main difference between the two is, generally speaking, people with ADHD don't like to focus on things that they have to concentrate on. For example, mathematics or heavy detailed stuff. They would rather focus on something else that takes less attention of their attention. So someone with Asperger's, it's a flip of that. It's the exact opposite, where we only want to focus on things that we have to concentrate on.
Okay.
So it makes social development very difficult, which is why many children are often nonverbal, but they are extremely gifted at nonverbal communication, because so the
great student, but not the socializer.
Right, but you pick up on everything, you just can't emote. Okay, so it's imagine I can read people extremely well. I don't have natural mannerisms that allow me to connect with people normally. But over time, and as I've grown up, I've taken what I've learned from the body language of others, and I typically try to mirror that whenever I'm in a social situation. It's still legit, but it's more out of respect for other people, because nobody wants to hear someone who's just going to have a monotone voice all the time and sit here with a pale face. No one wants that.
Right.
So it takes energy. It takes a lot of energy to do, but I make a concerted effort to check my voice inflection, my body language. I try and match as much as I can. It's like social engineering, not for kind of for survival, because you realize that you can't get through it alone.
Right.
And many people with Asperger's are very what the public would define as self-centered or condescending. We do a lot of remarkable things,
right?
But that's all we want to talk about, is something interesting.
Okay, let's talk about how you treat it.
Yeah.
What type of cannabis? We talked about the terpenes, but like, you're smoking? Are you?
I'm vaping a lot, actually.
Yeah,
I'm not a big fan of flower, because
sad.
I understand.
Yeah.
I have a very acute sense of smell.
Okay.
Which is part of the reason why my memory is so good, maybe too. But because of that, the smell permeates my clothing. And because I'm so OCD, like all the clothes that I wear are very specific fabrics, typically, like the ones I can wear regularly. Like it's typically like shirts are
I have a specific store that I have to shop from. It's called Free People.
Nice. No, mine's like 50-50 collie cotton blend. It's almost like rayon.
Okay.
Which like 100% cotton. So I have smell and touch and everything. I'm very sensitive to light. It's a lot of discomfort from a normal environment that people don't have.
But so living with it, cannabis has helped.
Absolutely.
And
in every day. So typically I'm using cartridges, and the cartridges range between, like, I don't pay attention to the THC as much. It's between 76 and 90%, 6% THC.
Sure. That's a pretty big swing.
It's a bit. Well, it's a big swing, but it's mostly because
so you basically buy any vape.
No. It's the terpenes, because
Sure.
the terpenes don't necessarily correlate to the THC amount,
Right.
but a lot of people put the priority on THC, and to me that's not the way. It needs to be the terpenes, 100%. And the ones that I found, it affects me in different moods, and the more experience I have with it, I've also picked certain terpenes for different times of day, for different activities I'm going to do. Do I want to be fully engaged, all my logic? Do I want to be relaxed? Do I want to sleep? Am I having problems sleeping? So I've picked 5 strains that I kind of put on rotation depending on what I'm trying to do.
So I love you've married your terpene game to your life conditions. Awesome.
Absolutely.
Now, let's talk about that edible, because that do you sometimes just take cannabis for fun? And like, is there like you're vaping for maintaining your homeostasis?
I'm doing more with gummies. Gummies seem to be lower,
which is where we ended our last conversation.
Yeah, microdosing. I've been
not that time though.
No,
250 milligrams on a Tuesday.
That was a tragedy.
Can you tell me how it ended?
Yeah, I went home. I don't know how I made it home.
That's right. You went to gamble for 11 hours straight.
I was drinking too, which was bad.
Oh,
it was
buddy,
so bad.
Bro.
I wasn't driving. I lived a block away.
That's okay then.
I don't remember making it home. The only other time I tried was dabbing, which that was horrendous. Somewhere it's as if you took it and melted someone into a couch and just laid there. They had to carry me home.
Maybe put some duct tape around that to make sure you don't.
It was horrendous.
Dabs can be intense.
It was. Can confirm.
Okay, we're off the dabs. So, all right. So, any other fun experiences when you've had cannabis? Like that's the fun of it, is when she slaps you around.
Oh yeah. Well, I have to pay for that extra.
Yes.
So
better than a hangover though.
True. I have never had a hangover on cannabis.
No, but I'm saying alcohol, right? That yucky. I don't remember the last time I had a hangover. I think I had 2 glasses of wine once and I had a headache and I was like, ooh, enough.
My Iowa home remedy for avoiding a hangover is 2 bottles of water like this and 2 or 3 Excedrin migraines with caffeine.
Oh, yes.
And that typically will hydrate enough to avoid any hangover in the morning. So I don't get hangovers.
Is that your patented recipe?
Yeah,
do you crush the Tylenol and put it into the water? So
patent pending.
Patent pending, right?
Intellectual property. This is my process.
No, heck yes. I'm just holding space.
Now for a quick word from our sponsors. From the chief lobbyist of Matos Consulting, Jay is spearheading a new bill for consumption lounges. Jay is passionate about alternative places to consume cannabis, so our city and the Strip can remain family friendly.
I used to travel a lot for my other jobs, a lot, like every week. I was at an airport and gosh, I don't miss that life, you know? And I was going to like uneventful places, like, I mean, no disrespect. Like I love St. Louis. I've had great times there, but it's not like, you know.
Best barbecue. I don't care what Kansas City says.
I've been to Kansas City, a lot of the Midwestern. So they all kind of look the same. And I just, man, so many corporate events where like the next morning people are just, they reek of alcohol. They look like crap.
Well,
I mean,
it's kind of like a Monet. From a distance, it looks beautiful. You see all the elegance of it, and then you get up close and you see all the squares and the swatches of color and everything. It looks disjointed like a Picasso.
Interesting.
It's kind of how I describe it.
I think that's all beautiful, actually. But yeah, I was just thinking about the last time I was really around people that were drinking and let's get drunk, you know? I recently started working for Can, the beverage company.
Oh, no kidding.
Ding, ding, ding.
Nice. Congrats.
Yeah.
I started working for SIG.
SIG. What is SIG?
Firearms.
Oh.
The SIG Firearms Company.
Well, let me just say my little ditty, and then I would like to go back to you. Yeah, no.
We're sharing here.
We are sharing, but I just want to say more because as it relates to drinking, one of the things I love, like 1 glass of wine while I'm cooking, but if I sit down, I'm done. I'm absolutely done for the night. And I was sent a whole bunch of these Can product, and I had it in the back of my fridge. And then as I was having these conversations, like, I should try that stuff. And I started to put it in my wine glass, and sip it like while I was doing all the same things I'd be doing and having my wine.
Like a spritzer?
But I did it. It's like 2 milligrams THC with 4 CBD. So you get that CBD that kind of holds you in a blanket. Like, I got you.
Like a little glove, like, oh, you're
That's
safe.
right.
Like someone holding you, like, oh.
But I had like 2 of those. I think I might be off alcohol completely. I just don't know if I need it for anything because I do love the sipping factor, you know, being able to hold something in a pretty glass, you know. So, but let's get more
as people, you know, as your people, you know, are out there partying, you just raise the glass.
And when what do you do with your hands if you don't have a glass?
Of course.
You just stand there like this?
Sure.
Yeah. Hey, buddy, how are you?
Yeah.
Do you just like toss your hand up to your mouth occasionally?
You need one hand with a vape, the other hand with a glass.
That's right. And that's a party or a J or whatever. Or a bowl. So back to you now. So you are working for SIG Firearms. You look like you work for a firearms company.
What does that mean?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
Well, super smart underneath this camouflage get up. Like, you look super smart. Because you got
I don't know what super smart. I know, and this
let me finish.
This is where I have a problem with this. So yeah,
well,
I'm very
too
curious.
bad. This is where I'm being Gia. You have this. It looks like a camo hat to here. It's maybe not, but you're in camo. You have boots on, right?
I have cowboy boots on.
And
yes.
and then you've got this like shirt with this. The mask that you had on had like messed up looking face, man. Like it was scary.
It's a tiger. It's a tiger. It's
okay. Equally so.
Okay.
I'm looking at two fangs.
It's a balaclava.
It's a and so you have this sort of like. I'm gonna mess you up kind of look, you know.
This is an Army of Darkness shirt.
It is.
It's a
I love
groovy
it.
Shirt, yeah.
And then you have perfectly manicured hands, impeccable jewelry.
All custom, by the way. Actually, all of it.
I know you, buddy.
Okay.
I see you.
Yeah.
And your beard is perfectly trimmed. So this is like your deadly combination, like this sort of like, you know, like really cool exterior. You're expressing yourselves, but then like make no mistake, sharp as a tack.
No, well, that's
how I see it. You asked, and that's how I see it.
That's how, and I everything I wear is like I have
There's a lot of
pretty diverse
intention.
concept. Exactly. That's like, okay, this ring, for example, I'll tell you about it because this is my wedding ring.
All right, but let's keep it a short story, just so with a whole
my
show
wife
ain't about the ring.
My wife has a mirror. To that.
Okay.
And we have custom. So
I can't have this one.
We want jewelry. We want whatever we wear, whatever we do, are expressions of ourselves, and that's the same thing. And I think part of that, and true back to even with cannabis. We see that it's easier to see if you pay attention. You don't get bogged down by the distractions of social media. You try and have those moments.
Right.
And the way we pick out what cannabis even has brought us together.
Say more about that.
Because, well, with microdosing and that and gummies and that. I was starting to experiment with making cocktails with cannabis and that. So I was thinking,
these flavors are from all over the world.
Don't know which one I had. I had one. It was like a lemonade. Maybe it was a yellow can. I've only had one can.
Lemon lavender.
That sounds right. But it was. I haven't tried any liquid cannabis products at any great length yet. But no, I'll absolutely try it. I think
especially maybe coating your tummy with that diverticulitis.
That was the worst. That was the worst month of my life.
I don't want to talk about the worst month. No.
Well, I'll say.
Do you want to talk about it?
I'll tell you this.
Do you need to heal? I'll hold space for you here, buddy. I got you.
So,
I got you, friend.
When I grew up, they tell you about the diabetes.
The diabetes, you got that foot.
And they tell you about the heart disease.
Yes.
At no point do they tell you if you have an improper diet, that there's going to be an invisible force that is going to grab you like a bowling ball and is going to squeeze with a Vulcan death grip right around your taint.
No, nobody tells you that.
No one tells you that. No, because I probably would have made better choices leading up to that point. And with no prior medical history, I wound up doubling on the floor and wound up going to the hospital. And after 2 hours, they tell me, well, guess what? You get to pick a hospital. An actual, because you need surgery. I went to Southwest Medical Associates, and this was back in April. And I went in, and fortunately, I got a guy who... I got a guy. The only guy evidently in town that does a minimally invasive surgery.
Really?
So he did a laparoscopic surgery and cut out abscesses. I had microperforations.
Oh, my goodness.
He was able to cut it all out. And then I had this weird tube in me for 10 days, which was the weirdest experiment in my life.
Okay.
Pulling that thing out, wow, you feel your body just do like a reverse as
really?
it was So anyway, but I healed up and now I'm on a better diet.
Everything
Cannabis helps me a lot.
It's a blessing.
It really is.
All our body speaks the mind, you know?
Yeah. After all, my wife, she is hardcore about keeping me on this too.
Let
so
me send you some
I wouldn't
Reiki
do it
right
on my
now.
own.
Let me send you some Reiki. Mm-hmm. Do you know what Reiki is?
I do.
Tell me how you know about Reiki.
I was actually attuned for Reiki when I was 16 years old.
Really?
I was, by a Reiki master who happened to be a baker in a place that I worked at.
Was he the baker, the maker,
the candlestick maker?
So interesting. At 16, how did you understand what Reiki was at 16?
So I didn't. Reiki was explained to me by this baker is that you imagine
the Reiki baker.
Either Reiki baker. You imagine a pinhole right by where I later learned to be where your pineal gland is. Mm-hmm. And he said, you imagine a stream of water coming out of that hole. And you imagine it pass through down your body, out into all its extremities. And you imagine this trickle of water. As you meditate, as you learn more, you can increase the flow. You can't ever turn it off. Once you're attuned, being attuned is like...
I love that story.
Back then, he said back then being attuned is like $10,000. But for what he would do, we spent about an hour. And he attuned me and he told me that, because he believed I would be a great transceiver because I had this natural... extremely strong energy, like being able to change other people's auras if I wanted to, that I could use to help others. And it depends again on your level. It's something that I don't really talk about that often because amongst the friends of some good old boy friends, they'd look at me like I just showed a dog a card trick. So it's kind of but it's something I truly believed in meditation and trying to better connect with my more perfect version of myself.
Oh, I love that.
So that's kind of more a Socrates theory philosophy, that you have a perfect version of yourself that you're trying to reference yourself to. And through life, as we become more self-aware, as we become elevated, we learn how to match or get in sync with our best version of ourselves.
You know what someone said to me recently? She said, she's in the psychology space and the plant medicine space. She said, I think we signed up for the amnesia here when we came here. And then our whole life is really just a remembering.
Yeah. And I think a lot, I think remembering and experiencing itself subjectively, like we are all the most interesting, I guess, spiritual definition of kind of a unifying theory it's called the theory of the hollow movement. And it talks about an implicate and a super implicate order, where the implicate order is how everyone is connected. You're kind of like covalent bonds. The point being that we experience ourselves subjectively, and that we are all part of a greater consciousness. That time is still going to move somewhat in a linear fashion because we all agree upon that time goes in a linear fashion. But if you can somehow meditate well, like a martial artist controls their chi, you can make your body sync or get a better harmony with the rest of the world. And you can sometimes even bring information back. That's why we have things like perfect timing. When you've ever tried to call a friend and you call each other to say, I was just going to call you. Well, perfect timing.
Yes.
It's hidden in these little amazing coincidences that we have and these details. And there's adding to that, the last one is there's a theory. It's, I think David Bohm's theory of the pendulum, where if you imagine your body resonating with wave packets and you have kind of a back and forth relationship, kind of a revolving sync. And there's a point at which if an object goes one direction before it starts coming back to the other, they call that a 0 point. And at these 0 points,
buddy, I forgot what we were talking about.
Our bodies are supposed to be able to connect with each other is the point through meditation.
Through meditation. Got it.
You can connect with other people. So if you meditate well through cannabis, through elevation, through enlightenment, through sharing that experience, and even with psychedelics, there's potentially some scientific research that could back that up and support that theory.
Of course.
So that's that
Speaking
connection.
Of psychedelics.
Sure. What's
your take on that for your personal use?
Recently I saw that the FDA has finally approved it to be used for PTSD. So I'm thinking that they're finally going to understand in a controlled environment how expanding your consciousness is going to be able to desensitize PTSD and allow them to change how those events affected their lives mentally, and to accept what's happened to them.
Didn't quite answer my question. Are you saying
That's
that
what
you?
it is for me. That's why I believe.
No. I'm saying. So, have you never experienced psilocybin? Or
I've never tried them. No.
Okay. So you're waiting. You are officially waiting for more legalization.
I'm not even that.
Okay.
I'm waiting for an organic time to try something like that.
Understood. That's
because
fair.
it's more opportunity. I don't want to go out and say, well, I'm going to do this today and then
Okay.
take my family and we're going to go
gotcha.
out and wifey and I are going to go out to the wilderness or whatever. I don't want to do it
Wifey.
that way. I want to
Sure.
make it as part of an organic experience with someone else. Maybe we just hooked up and they happen to have them, and then we go somewhere and we trust each other. We build that trust.
Yeah.
If my wife's involved into it, that's a more meaningful relationship
I like
to
that.
me.
Yeah. And it's always about the setting and the intention around it.
Exactly.
That's so important. People are just popping off with all kind of bad experiences because
Yeah.
they're not in a place where they understand the impact of energy. And when you open these,
Right.
these frequencies, Interesting. Okay.
Support for Get Elevated with Gia is provided by Curaleaf. With 2 locations in Las Vegas and 1 in Ely, Nevada, Curaleaf specializes in cannabis products ranging from edibles to flower. More information is available at curaleaf.com. Curaleaf, Nevada. Cannabis with confidence. Keep out of reach of children. For use by adults 21 years of age and older.
For someone listening, are we complete on using cannabis with Asperger's?
For me, I know what it does well for me.
Yeah. I think people listening got it.
I don't know. I mean, the next steps are I'm actually scheduling to come back here recently, to where we are, to the UNO visa practice. And I'm asking them to help find out what my strengths are.
Okay.
And then after I find that out, this is more, it's really inspired me to see what I can do next.
Absolutely.
Now that I have a grasp, now that cannabis has helped me to have a grasp on what I've done and what is going on, my next steps are to see what my strengths are and how I can improve upon them. Is this something that I can control? What can I do to practice? And honestly, it's for my next project working for SIG. I actually, because it's going to be about the experience. And so that's what is going to be coming up. And I'm trying to do my best to make sure I am at my peak. So then we all mesh together and we have this harmony and we create a better quality product.
Tell me more about SIG.
They are one of the nation's leaders. They realize that if they're going to reduce the stigma on anything of firearms and that, the best way to do it is digitally. And they're taking full advantage of planning out a major project coming up, which I can't really give too many details about, unfortunately. But it's an app. And
Boy, it felt like it didn't take much for you to squeal on that one. I can't tell you it's an app.
No, I can tell you it's an app, but I can't tell details of what we're doing. But no, it's basically, it's going to be all about the experience. There are a lot of others that are trying to do that, and they're missing that connection. They're wanting people to analyze this information and then, make the next steps accordingly. Well, if you've got someone new, how are they going to do that?
Right.
So that's the next step, is to really get back into a holistic experience for the consumer. And as well, it should be with any product out there. So.
Do you shoot guns?
Oh, yes.
Really?
My wife and I both have our CCWs.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. What type of equipment do you have there?
So, this is the funniest thing. The quick about getting this job, I was like, how many IT people do you know he and his wives have their CCWs?
I mean, you're a perfect fit.
Yeah, exactly.
Right
that was the
on.
point. So I carry, my daily carry is a SIG P365.
What?
A SIG P365.
Okay.
It's a little, which that was another coincidence too. It's a little double stack. It weighs about 18 ounces unloaded. And it's a double stack, 9mm, 12 rounds.
Oh, wow. That sounds hot.
My wife carries an H&K 40.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's a little top heavy for me. Yeah. And I have in my bedside, I keep that. She keeps that in hers. I also have a Smith & Wesson Deluxe 357 Magnum. That's just for show.
Dang there, bro. You flexing like that.
In the dark, it shines. So if someone sees that, you don't have to. And we also, my other one that I love is, that I've modified a bit, is a Colt 45 M1991A1, which is a government issue. It's a very reliable weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have
Gun love and family.
I have no weapons at all.
If you'd like one, I can make a
Yeah,
recommendation.
apparently so.
I can get you in pink too.
Yeah, I would love pink. I shot the 9mm, a couple of the Glock and a few. That was fun.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I like to do the pew pew and the bang bang.
So loud, man. So
where
loud.
are headphones?
I did have the headphones on.
Okay.
But like, that's not reality. If I'm really going to own a gun, you know, like Bill Burr, he's like, what am I going to go put the headset on before? Like, you hear one gunshot, phew, that thing will echo.
Well, inside, yes. But if you go out to like an outdoor range, it's not as bad as you think. It's completely different because it's all heading forward.
Yeah. I dated a state trooper once and I got a gun card and just I wanted to.
A gun card?
Yeah, it was.
That doesn't sound real.
Yeah, I know. I have it with me.
Okay.
It just expired. Yeah, like a weapons.
Oh, CCW?
Firearms.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, firearms card.
Oh, blue card.
No, it wasn't blue. It was in Chicago. But the point is, I got it. But it was blue or white. I just wanted to impress him. I was like, yeah, because, you know.
I like what you like.
I like what you like. I like guns. Yeah, that didn't work. None of that. But the card was cool because one time I was at a basketball game and my son played on the south side of Chicago. And so I left my wallet at the front desk when I was paying. And the first thing you saw was my firearms card.
Oh, okay.
So I felt pretty bad. You know what I mean?
I used to go to Chicago a lot. Where were you? Southside, like Alsip?
Everywhere, bro. I lived there, so I was all
okay.
like real Southside. All right. So before we conclude, we got just a few more minutes. So one of the things I'm also curious is, what are you really passionate about?
I've got my dream job. Okay, this is my dream job. I've got the next. I'm on a 5 to 7 year contract that's open ended. That I can make this a 20-year contract, and will be for firearms what Blizzard is and WoW is to the nerds.
Okay.
Because we're gonna have that type of experience.
Okay.
And I think that it's really making the most relationships I can and paying attention to people's needs and also helping people out making those connections, because I had a very, very much a surrogate mother that I met 18 years ago. And she taught me appreciation for poetry. She taught me because she was helping me. And she taught me, you know, if a novel's 510, 515 pages, no one cares. But a poem, 5 to 7 lines, there's going to be a difference. And reaching out to people and just getting them to understand that they can achieve all this through time, patience, and perseverance. They just have to take the time.
Perseverance.
Yeah, they just have to take the time to connect with others. And that extra half a second, that extra 2 seconds of hesitation, and how you can make or create a relationship with people. So that's probably what I've learned with cannabis, just having that ability, having that buffer to check back and just move back and say, okay, what could I have done differently here?
Right.
And that honesty, that true transparency with oneself, that's probably I've done the most through cannabis, is just accepted all of my flaws and my merits at that time.
I love that. Thank you for being on the show. And
well, thank you for having me.
Any parting words for people at all in this vast, millions of people that are listening to this? Millions.
Stay swank.
What is swank? What is that? Like, stay swank?
Dazzling people with your amazing feats of swankness. I don't know.
I swank?
Sure.
I love it, man. That you make your own words up?
No. This was popular when I was a kid. I mean,
that's what it is. Okay, there it is. Okay. I'm like, I never even heard the word swank. Swag.
Swag, yeah. See, I mean, to me, swag is like, just, free stuff. Swag. I think swag and swag.
So you put a swag? You made it swaggy? No, I'm saying swag.
No, I know. Oh, or swagger, maybe.
Yeah.
Like
can I have
Jagger.
my word, buddy? I'm going to go swag, and you got, what is your smack? Swag?
What do I want as a word?
What is the word?
Do I have to pick a word?
No, but what was the word we were using?
Oh, swank.
I say swag. So you keep your swag.
Swank.
I'll keep my swank.
Sounds good.
I love it. Hey, that's a cool brand right there. Swag and swank. Like
SNS?
rag and bone.
SNS? Yeah, that'd be good.
I'm losing the crowd here. Oh, if anybody wants to learn more about your amazing life and yourself, where can they find you, Buddy?
On LinkedIn. That's where I make the most connections.
That's where all the magic happens. Buddy Romesburg, ROMESBURG, Romesburg.
Look for the guy in the cowboy hat and SIG. So
I love it. With the very well trimmed hands and perfect.
Yes.
I love that jewelry. I want that ring so bad. Anyway, thank you so much for listening.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're going to have cannabis and massage, body work, energy work coming up over the next couple of sessions. So there's just so many ways to experience this plant. My goal is to just randomly allow them to come versus, we just tend to think of like fun, medicinal, sleep. Like we have categories, but I'm blowing it up and looking at all the ways.
You have been listening to a paid program sponsored by Get Elevated.
So I'll hope to see you back in the studio, buddy, as we progress. And dear friends, as I always like to say, thank you so much for listening. Welcome to the future of cannabis. My name is Gia. I'll be your tour guide.